Hey guys, how are we today? It is Natalie Marie here, coming to you with another video. It has been a while. I'm not gonna lie. It has been so long that I kind of forgot how to do this, to be honest. But here I am, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the 10 things I wish I knew before moving overseas to study abroad. Now, I have had a lot of comments lately about AMDA, about what AMDA is like for international students, how people can work in AMDA, and I have answered those questions. I have 2 other videos about AMDA on my channel if you would like to check them out. I honestly think that we get swept up in the fact that, we're going to be moving overseas, we're going to be doing what we love every single day, and we don't think about the logistics. Now, I totally didn't. Just to recap, I basically had planned, I auditioned for AMDA when I was in the USA, and I came back and I never heard back from them. And so I instead planned to go to the UK, and I paid for my flights, I paid for everything I was doing over in the UK, and I was going to live there for 2 years and on a working holiday visa. Then the day of my biometrics test, which is the test that you take to make sure that you're all good to go, and they stamp your visa and things like that. Stamp your passport, I should say. That day, it was the night before actually, my mum told me that there is a package in the mail for me and it's from AMDA, and I basically said, what? I had no idea that there was going to be a package, and then I saw the email that was in my junk box and I was like, oh, I actually got in. So fast forward, we rerouted my entire life and basically said no to UK, say hello to the USA, jumped on a flight, got my visa together in 1 month. And if anyone knows how long visas usually take, it's a long time. So it was very stressful. But AMDA really helped me out, really pushed it for me to come into the summer. Anyway, when I got there, I loved it, obviously, but sometimes I look back thinking there may have been a little bit of rose-tinted glasses. I absolutely loved being overseas and working and enjoying my time and making new friends. But here are the 10 things that I wish I knew before going. The amount of money you are going to need. So living is expensive apparently. Now, I have moved out of house before and I know how expensive it is to live. But that is also when you've got a 9-to-5 job that is paying you quite well. Well, I didn't have that. Instead, at AMDA, and as an international student, you can only work 20 hours and it has to be at the school. Otherwise, if you do anything else, like cash in hand, things like that, it's illegal. And if people, like the immigration people, if they find out, they will definitely kick you out. Trust me, I've seen it happen to 3 people. That is why I never went down that route. I basically kept my blinkers on and did what I was told, and I was a pretty good girl. Cool. A lot of money to live. Now, not only is housing expensive, but also food was expensive because you're in New York. And I did try to eat quite healthy as well, and that was expensive because everything would just go off really quickly. I didn't realize I would crave vegetables. So as I said, everything would go off really quickly. So whenever I went home and my mum would ask me, hey, what do you want for dinner or your first dinner, I'd literally be like, I want a bowl of vegetables, because I got so caught up in the whole fast food thing for a while. Like, I ate a lot of pizza, I ate a lot of McDonald's, I ate a lot of cookies, like too many cookies to count, like too many cookies that I would put the Cookie Monster to shame. Just saying. So vegetables were my best friend when I came home, and salads and anything fresh that I could have. The third thing, I wish I knew spiders weren't actually my fear. So I don't know if you have lived in New York, but there are cockroaches in New York and rats, but cockroaches, because cockroaches were very rampant amongst the AMDA students. I heard of stories how there was a cockroach in someone's body while they were sleeping, and they realized and they got freaked out and they wouldn't sleep anymore. I actually it was only up till 3rd semester, I was pretty lucky, but 3rd semester there were 3 cockroaches in my room. Not just one, No, we thought there was just one, but there were 3. And honestly, it has nothing to do with the cleanliness of your room. My room was clean. It was the humidity. They just love it. They just love the halls. And no matter where you go in New York, that's how it's going to be. Cockroaches are going to be a thing. And to be honest, these cockroaches were scary because they flew at your face. Like, literally just flew. And when they start flying, that's when I was going to say crying, but I didn't cry. It was just more, I was just really in shock. Here in Australia, cockroaches, like, you see them, but they're pretty harmless. They're not inside. They stay outside where they belong. Okay, on expenses, how expensive medical is. There was one time I needed to go to a specialist because I couldn't go to a GP. I couldn't go to any doctor. Apparently, you have to go to a specialist for this, which is really weird. Here in Australia, you can go to a GP and it's under your Medicare and it's under your insurance, but in America, you have to go to a specialist if it's anything up above a cold or something, or maybe that was just my insurance. International insurance is not great, not gonna lie. I mean, I ended up going to United Care, I think they're called, maybe not. They pretty much like a little GP or a clinic, and you go there, but I went there twice and the guy said you may as well look for an actual GP to help you out. But there was none in the city that I could find that would actually go for my, and he gave me a whole list, but none would take my insurance. So it was pretty expensive, especially as a student, especially who was only working like 12 hours a week, and that was fun. But a good thing, let's talk about the good stuff as well. You know, I didn't realize when I went over to America that my life would change and that I would meet friends that I would have for life. I know if I ever go back to America, which I will, obviously after all this shit happens and goes, but if I ever go back, I know that I have houses to visit. I know that I have people to visit. I know that people will be more than happy to accommodate me. I know that, you know, we'll have such fun times. We'll go on adventures. We'll go traveling. I know I have people and they're good people. And even though we don't talk every day, I know that if we talk today, it'd be like we saw each other yesterday or something. I want to also touch on the fact that I didn't realize how tough I really was. And I'm not talking about macho tough, I'm talking about how much my body could withstand. I was literally talking to a friend the other day and we were talking about my routine at AMDA. And basically, let's say you have 24 hours, 6 of those, maybe, if you're lucky, is for sleeping. So let's say I have 8 a.m. ballet or 8 a.m. dance. Then from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. is your classes. Then from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. is your rehearsal time. And then which is for your classes the next day or the next couple of days. Then from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. I did late night, which is basically technicians, theatre tech. That's basically what it is. You know, you painted walls or you painted sets and you put up lights and things like that. And then you do it all over again and you do it every single day. Yeah. I mean, you did have weekends, but most of my weekends was taken up by rehearsals or classes that went from AMDA, like dance classes and things like that. But, you know, I did that every single day until I got burnt out in, I think it was semester 3, nearly semester 4, where my voice just went. I couldn't do anything. I would be sleeping in between classes. Yeah, it wasn't healthy. But I loved it. I can't tell you how much I love being that busy and doing what I love. So, you know, it's on me. Okay, so I didn't realize that moving overseas and things like that I would actually crave to be on a plane. So as I said about my routine, it was pretty busy and you didn't get much alone time because you're in a dorm room and you have all your peers around you. So you have your peers around you all the time, pretty much 24/7. Then when you go home, you have your family and friends who always want to like obviously see you because they miss you and you miss them and you want to have a good time. But again, there's not much alone time because you're filling people in, but really you've only got like 1 week to fill people in. or 2 weeks. That's the majority of time I had back home. I came home after 8 months and I only stayed for a week and it wasn't enough. And I went back, did my schooling, and then I came back in June and stayed for 2 weeks for the summer and then came back. Usually people get 3 weeks, but I think because it was my 4th semester, we had to start early, some orientation thing. I'm not quite sure, I can't remember. But anyway, I loved being on a plane. I loved having my phone on airplane mode. I loved having just silence and being in an airport and being around so many people, but you're alone. I don't know. That's what I loved. I didn't realize I loved planes so much until I was on them a lot. Your health is truly in your hands. This is something that I realized. How much you push yourself, that is all up to you. And yes, you can push yourself, but then you can get sick and you can do what I did and burned out and didn't have a voice. And that meant when I rocked up to classes and people told me to project and I couldn't, well, that's on me because I didn't make sure that I was good. And you have to always make sure that you are good so that you are the best performer you can totally be. I'm not fat shaming or anything like that, but girl, the cookies, well, let's just say they didn't help. I went over to America. I was pretty fit. I did dancing a lot and things like that. And then because you're alone and you don't have parents telling you what to do, you don't have people cooking for you, things like that, the food you eat and the money that you have to buy that food, well, basically it's all up to you. You're responsible for your own health. And I pretty much got to a point where I didn't feel comfortable with how I looked or felt inside. And that was because I stopped going to the gym. I wanted to save money. I stopped eating healthy food. I ended up eating cookies for life. Even though I spoke or speak English and I was in an English speaking country, there was a language barrier. Being Australian, we have different ways of saying things, and I got a few looks about what I was talking about. Apparently also we talk really fast, and I would be told to slow down. Basically that's it. There's still a language barrier, even if because you both lived such different lives in such different countries that you sometimes just don't understand the other person. My last one, let's go off on a good note. How much I didn't realize until I left that how much I loved snow. Now it was the first time I saw snow when I moved to America and actually being in the snow for quite a long time. But I love the fall as well. So the second half of the year became my favorite. It was so festive. The smells were great. People were just happier. People were so cozy. It was I just loved the fashion. I loved everything about the fall and then everything about Christmas. And I was really lucky. I had a great Christmas. I had Christmas Eve with some family friends, and then I also had Christmas Day, I want to say, or Boxing Day and New Year's with my other friends' family. So I was really lucky to have people during that time because I know as internationals we can get lonely. We don't have our own family and sometimes we can't go back for Christmas, which I couldn't afford it. But yeah, the fall was great. The fall, I miss the snow so much. There was one point in winter in Australia where I was like, oh, it's totally gonna snow because I thought I saw the start of it. No, she dreaming, that's all. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit of a ramble, but it was really great to talk to you guys again. And if you want to know anything else about acting or moving to America, things like that, I think I'll put this on to both of my channels to see how well it does. But we'll see, because this isn't really about acting, but it was about my experience as an actor in acting school, studying abroad, and what I learnt, the 10 things I learnt when I moved. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day or night or wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.